that's the case, then board members, I would call the organizational meeting for 2026 to order. At this time, for the approval of the agenda, any additions, corrections, modifications to the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
All right.
Second.
Ms. Roundtree?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Ely?
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson?
Yes.
And Mr. Acree?
Yes.
All right, thank you. At this time, we'll have our invocation.
Yes. My pleasure to welcome U.S. Navy retired chaplain Glenn Kranz, and most importantly, my father.
And I'm proud to be known as Renee's dad. It used to be that they say, "Oh, look, there goes Renee. She's Glenn Kranz's daughter." It's the other way around now these days, and I'm really, proud of her and happy to have that. I'm told that at the conclusion of the prayer, I'm supposed to go like this, and we're all going to stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance, right?
Yeah, that'll work.
So that works. Okay. Let us pray. Blessed are you, Lord God, King of the universe, for you have given us good work to do, and good men and women to do it. As we begin a new year, we take a few minutes for prayerful reflection. And so let us reflect with gratitude on all that we have been given in life, our family, our friends, our Isle of Wight County community. Let us reflect with sadness on the recent terrorist events that have put so many people in peril. Let us reflect with gladness on all that is good and beautiful and kind and giving in the world. Let us reflect with hope on the transformational times in which we live, filled with innovation, advancements, and endless possibility. And as we make these reflections, let us pray for peace in the world. Let us pray for the health and happiness of our Isle of Wight community. And finally, let us look forward to the work ahead of us this year with a renewed sense of purpose and hope and giving. Whether our impact is to be big or small, affecting many or affecting one, let us use our time, talents, and treasure to make a difference in the world. All this we pray in your own holy name, our strength, salvation, and shalom. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I almost want to say amen to that too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the privilege. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good
Happy
night.
New Year to you.
Thank you.
Board members, at this time, will begin the organizational portion of your meeting with the election of the chairman. Are there any nominations for chairman?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Jefferson as chair. Second.
All right, hearing no others. Ms. Mays?
Ms. Roundtree?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Ely?
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson?
Yes.
And Mr. Acree?
Yes.
All right, and with that,
You want to go ahead and switch?
we'll have to
Congratulations.
It was a tight race.
graduate. Well, you're everything right there, buddy. Whoop. Go ahead. Let's do it this way. We'll be all right. I'm gonna have to move you. Yeah. I'm just gonna stand here. But that's okay. Okay. You want water, then I'll be there your way. All right, we all right. There you go.
First of all, I would say thanks to the board for giving me the opportunity just one more time, and this should be my last time being chair of the Board of Supervisors, I hope. But I do pledge to do the best I can to support the county and support this board in the trying to achieve the accomplishments of this county and what this county is facing in the future. So once again, thank you, and we'll move on with the next item B. Item B, we need a motion for the election of the vice chair.
I can make a motion, Renee Roundtree for vice chair.
Any unreadiness? Ms. Kay?
Mr. Acree?
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson?
Yes.
Mr. Ely?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Ms. Roundtree?
Yes.
All right. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Moving to a different neighborhood.
I know, I'll miss you. While we miss my
Good thing you
notes.
don't need a moving company, okay? You don't need a moving company.
Oh, I know.
If I can get it out, there you go. I got it.
You'll love the seat. Bobby's a lot of fun.
You did
Well,
good.
you're just bouncing all over the place.
Got his steps in.
Oh, God. I need to tell you if I do something wrong.
They do. It's our evening exercise.
All right, we'll move on. Item C, we need a motion to appoint the clerk of the Board of Supervisors. Clerk of the Board of Supervisors.
Move we approve Ms. Catherine Mays as clerk.
Any unreadness? Ms. Kay?
Ms. Roundtree?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Ely?
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson?
Yes.
And Mr. Acree?
Yes.
All right, next we would need a motion for a deputy clerk for the Board of Supervisors. Get a motion? Joel?
We recommend Ms. Courtney Denny.
Okay, Ms. Courtney.
Then I'll make a
Okay.
motion that we appoint Ms. Denning to be the, deputy clerk. Sorry, I was looking for a different place. on the piece of paper.
All right, any unreadness? Ms. Kay?
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Ely?
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson?
Yes.
Ms. Roundtree?
Yes.
And Mr. Acree?
Yes.
All right. Item E is the adoption of the Board of Supervisors meeting schedule. The motion to accept that as printed.
Mr. Jefferson, if I may, I know that most of us here for the last meeting, Mr. Ely, I'm sure saw it also. It's been the tradition, I believe, of us to adopt our meeting somewhat modified at times, sometimes presented. But I think as a group, when people have conflicts, particularly family, that kind of thing, we usually accommodate each other.
Yes.
And I guess that'll still be the practice, correct?
Right. And I did share that with Mr. Ely, that if
Okay.
there was a conflict.
But I think it's also important to the citizens here, you know, everybody on this board has family things and things that come up, and we're going to accommodate each other the best that we can.
Right. Mhm.
I'll make a motion that we approve the meeting schedule.
All right, any unreadness?
So there's no work session in February?
No, if you recall, there's a conflict with the VACO legislative day and the February 5th meeting, and so I think the suggestion at the last meeting was just not to hold that February 5th meeting.
And I feel like when we talked about it before, there was some inconsistency with the dates in June, but I'm assuming you corrected that.
Now, I did not change anything in June. I'm trying to remember when you say inconsistency.
When I looked at it last time, one of the dates didn't match up, but if you fixed it, then you fixed it.
I didn't. Let's take a quick look.
Well, we can always amend the meeting schedule if need be in advance, you know, if we see a problem.
4th and 18th.
That's the first and third.
It may have been correct, because she's right, there was something that was unusual about
Do you
it.
remember last time? Yeah.
There was something unusual, it must have been corrected.
May have done it and I didn't thought about it.
I appreciate you all putting the budget work sessions on the calendar this time so that we can plan for those
I was about to
dates.
say, yeah, we're trying to give a little bit more advance notice on those.
Thank you.
You good? You made the
I
motion?
did make the motion.
All right, any unreadness with that? Ms. Kay?
Ms. Roundtree?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Ely?
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson?
Yes.
And Mr. Acree?
Yes.
All right, item F, bylaws and rules of procedure. Everybody had the opportunity to review the bylaws?
And Mr. Chairman, at the last meeting, there was discussion, but no, I think, real consensus as to the language that was added at the board's request about if a opening on one of the boards or committees remains unfilled for a period of time, that with the consensus of the board, that you can fill that outside of the district that it was opened up. So say a District 1 seat goes unfilled and nobody has stepped forward and another board member has a suggestion, And I had just selected 60 days is the time for it to remain vacant. And there was some discussion about making it a little bit longer to vet, because the other board members would be just out there doing their own job while the District 1 is looking for someone so that was the only question that was remained, was how long that seat should be vacant before there's consideration of other citizens.
You don't want to have any concerns with the 60-day, or you need to be
I propose 90 days.
90 days?
90 days.
Mr. Ely?
I feel like I should be able to do it in 60, but 90 is fine. I mean, whatever.
I mean, and quite honestly, you can suspend your bylaws if you needed to make something emergent. So I think whichever 60 days is fine, 90
Whichever,
days,
fine
doesn't
with
matter to
me,
me.
either
Yeah.
one.
What do you think, Ms.
I'll go with 90.
Hmm.
I'll go with 90. I mean, some of these committees don't meet but
Yeah.
once a quarter anyway.
Yeah,
So it makes sense to me to have a quarter to refill it.
And what we need to look at is that the county administrator, whomever, they give us a list of who is expiring
Yeah.
prior to. So we probably get that probably 60 days in advance, I imagine, or at least 30 days in advance. So we don't need, I don't think we need to add another 90 days on to that notification, so to speak.
I think the idea was when we go outside the norm, there's some reason or some logic behind it. It doesn't look like we're doing something, of any kind of malice or whatever. I think that's the intent. So I think that's why we have the 90 days. It's just so that the public, if we do something out of the norm, there's some type of structure to why we're doing it, right, Bobby?
Right, I think that was many times we fill the vacancy on the day that it comes up on the agenda that this vacancy has occurred, and there's somebody, either it's a reappointment or somebody that's there, but some of these have been hard to fill, and so, as opposed to just taking it away from that board member immediately, to let them have 2 months additional time to fill it. And again, if there's a suggestion from another board member, that's been done in the past as well, but it's just a matter of, so.
Okay, so we got,
And I know that Ms. Mays has a spreadsheet of all of the citizen committees
right,
that has their current expiration date. We can provide the entire list to you almost immediately, so you have it in your notebook that if you want to look through to see who's coming up this year that may expire.
that was my point.
That as opposed to, getting the list.
the list that you gave me, that was in that, one of those pamphlets. They gave you the list of who was there, when they would expire, through the whole.
Just that everybody has that list, so and we'll still send out reminders when the board packet goes out that this month somebody is coming off the list, or next month somebody's coming off the list, but that way, if you see somebody that you have suspicion that you may want to put somebody else in that spot, or that they may give notice that they're not going to serve another term, that you can be looking ahead of time.
Okay,
I mean, I don't have a problem with 90 days. I mean, you can fill it quicker. I mean, so.
Right.
Yeah.
it really,
all right.
you know,
So we need to, right now you got 60 days in
But
the,
so the motion would be to approve the bylaws with the amendment to a 90-day period for Article 7.
okay.
I'd like to make a motion
Okay.
to
And Randy-
approve the bylaws with the amendment in Article 7 of 90 days versus 60.
Ms. Kay?
Mr. Avery?
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson?
Yes.
Mr. Ely?
yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Ms. Roundtree?
Yes.
All right, item G is Board of Supervisors Committee assignments, appointments to the Board of Supervisors Committee.
Mr. Jefferson, I think we provided copies of that at your places, and more just to identify those committees where there are vacancies, either because Mr. DeStefano or Mr. Rosie might have served in those roles previously. So again, that's up to you as to how you all might want to handle those appointments, but we just want to make sure you had the information in front of you as to what the 2025 standing committees were.
I'm good with serving with what I've served in the past, unless somebody wants to do some of them. I mean, I'm willing to serve on the standing committees, on the ones that I'm already listed on. Again, if there's somebody that's passionate about it, would like to take my place on something, I'm open to that, but if that makes it easier, I don't mind.
Right. So are we asking, Mr. Garland and Mr. Ely to fill a slot for Don and fill a slot for this,
Looks like McCarty's still on here too, so,
yeah. Well, we'll say for District Two.
all right. I think
Y'all
it makes-
comfortable with that?
Sure.
Yeah, that'll be
Yes.
fine. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, if that's the case, then we can go and revise and just
Right.
insert them in those, with those vacancies rather, where District 2 or District 5 were previously represented.
Okay. Might want to make a motion for that?
If I may, Mr. Ely, there's a couple in here that kind of deal with the southern end of the county. I know yours, and
Yep.
mine goes not just the
Yep.
southern end anymore, but
Yep.
you follow me on that. Is there any here that, that I sit on that you're interested in? Or, I mean, I don't mean that as if I'm trying to give anything
No.
away, or, but I just, you
Well,
know,
the ones that in Gulfport, I mean, that's fine, because
Right.
we're both from southern end.
right.
Commission on Adults and with Disabilities, I mean,
Okay.
I don't have a problem. Franklin, which, that's, yeah. And then Ms. Roundtree with, the, community development and planning. I mean, unless she thinks somebody else would be, but I mean, it's whatever. I'm good.
I've never met with that committee,
I don't know that
You want
committee
to
has
set
had
that,
a
you might set that
meeting.
meeting.
so I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah, I mean, most of these committees
I think I'll
meet
stay on it with you.
Yeah, yeah.
on an as-needed basis, but yeah, that one hasn't met in quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm fine.
I just don't want you to think, I'm just, you know,
Yeah, I'm fine. Yes, sir.
The social services, why is there only one on social services board?
That's just a liaison, one person
Yeah,
to their board.
No action.
Same with Commission on Aging?
Right.
correct.
Okay, with that said, can we get the motion?
Mr. Chairman, before you do, on the joint tourism, it also shows that Mr. Keaton was the alternate
Yes.
tourism, so
And that-
I think there's.
y'all want to do Don on that? That's it. Just kidding.
Unless, I know that,
Already served on that
Make Randy
before.
drive up from Carolina.
I mean, the only thing I would say about that is that I know that Mr. Webb attended both sessions of the Tourism Strategic Planning Retreat and efforts, because I saw him there at the one that I went to, so I don't know if he has an affinity to that or an interest.
Judy's has a sign, whatever you choose to get.
Your thoughts, Don?
Look, we can do it either way. Judy's Bill's direct reports, it's the board's pleasure.
Well, he's kind of over it anyway, isn't he? Yeah.
I think so. I mean, not taking anything away from our
Don's
county
got plenty of
administrator,
stuff, I'm sure.
but he has plenty on his plate.
Complaining about
You
it.
can
He's
still
not had that
go.
happen too
One less
often in his
meeting,
career.
yeah.
Don, you can still go.
Mr. Webb seems to have an affinity for that space, and since Judy reports to him, I think it makes sense.
That's everything, right? Everybody satisfied? Now you make a motion to,
Make the
go.
motion approved as modified.
All right, Ms. Kay?
Ms. Roundtree?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Ely?
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson?
Yes.
And Mr. Avery?
Yes.
All right, Board of Supervisors appointments to regional boards and committees. Do we have a,
I don't have a paper for that.
It's on the digital version.
I was about to say, yeah, it's in the actual.
in it, on there?
We didn't print that one out per se.
I don't mind continuing to serve on the HR TAC, PDC, and TPO.
I'm good with mine. I'm the chair of the Water Authority, so I should probably stay on it.
You want to stay on it? Come on.
And for the new board members, this is something that we would put in your agenda each meeting, each month for your regular meeting, as a reminder, but,
What is the Hampton Roads Military Federal Facilities Alliance? What is the,
so that is a regional board that works or deals with the military and its relationship to Hampton Roads. So it came about years ago when they had the BRAC commissions and they were downsizing military. And so this was a way of Hampton Roads preserving those military bases that we have in Hampton Roads. And it's kind of evolved into more of a military/economic development type perspective on the military because of the importance of the military. So they look at everything from housing to, like I said, economic development opportunities with the military. So it's pretty broad, but it's all focused on the military.
Can't get mine up on this computer.
would you like, since you do have a background?
Yes.
I mean,
Just
since
listed for the
he's
jail.
got a
I have
background.
more
pretty much
experience, right.
in
For the
that.
jail.
That's what I was thinking.
Army and Special
Yeah,
Ops.
yeah.
He'll be on the jail.
I mean, that's his cup of tea.
This is forte.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
I mean, yeah.
So what's that one?
Mr. Garland, McCarty, he was on the jail board. Would you be willing to be on the jail board? With two of us on that.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll add him to the jail board.
Which one? You were just
So
talking
Garner
about
would be
Hampton Roads
Harumpha.
Military.
Entire water
Yes,
in
we
jail.
pivoted a little bit.
and then Mr. Ely's gonna do the military facilities?
I think he
No,
was
Mr.
saying.
Gardner.
Oh.
We switched
I
it.
think Mr. Gardner with his
Okay.
background
That's
would be
his
perfect.
forte. I
Okay,
mean,
great. So then that leaves you EV, RIFA, and the Water Authority.
yeah, what, I'm sorry.
So under vacancy,
Oh, okay.
if Mr.
okay.
Garner's taking the jail and then also Mr. Rosie's, then if you took two, that would be the
EV
EV,
RIFA.
RIFA, and the Water Authority.
Okay.
The EV RIFA is a conglomerate of the localities doing economic development projects.
Yeah, it's a good, I've been on it before, and then Mr. DiStefano was on it, but it's a great
Yeah.
committee. It's a great way to stay up with everything the Hampton Roads Alliance is doing
Okay.
to jointly promote the area. And then the Water Authority, I'm the chair of the Water Board, but that's, Isle of Wight and Suffolk are 2575 partners in the provision of water services, so.
Yep.
And that only meets
Quarterly.
once a quarter, yeah.
And just for Mr. Ely, EV RIFA, we had talked about potentially partnering with them for something on the southern end with the shopping center or the airport.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
really is a good
Okay.
fit for
Sounds
you.
good. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yeah, I can do that. That's not a problem.
So I'll make a motion that Mr. Garner is appointed to the jail, Western Tidewater Regional Jail Committee, as well as the Hampton Roads Military Federal Facilities Alliance. And then Mr. Ely is appointed to EV RIFA, as well as the Western Tidewater Water Authority.
And if I may, and then everyone else would remain.
And everyone else
Yeah.
stays the same.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, any other readiness? Ms. Kay?
Mr. Acree?
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson?
Yes.
Mr. Ely?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Ms. Roundtree?
Yes.
All right. And next we'll move into the county administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Jefferson. We just had a couple of things that we wanted to talk to you all about. You may or may not be aware, but we have begun the budget process. I sent out notifications to our staff. We've also contacted outside agencies or affiliate agencies that the board provides contributions or funding to. So everybody's aware that the process has begun. And there's a calendar that's provided, that just kind of outlines kind of the way the budget process will proceed. Very similar to last year's calendar in terms of the overall process. But one of the things that I wanted to talk to you all about is a couple of things. One is sort of restructuring the way that we do work sessions. And I've talked to a couple of you about this before, but in the past, we've had work sessions and, typically the county administrator would ask you all if you had questions or if you had things that.
About budget.
Yes,
Work
I'm sorry. Budget work sessions. If you had questions or if you had things that you wanted to talk about, and we obviously address those. What I would like to do is a little bit of a modification of that process in that we already have dates identified for the work sessions. What I'd like to do is to sort of designate primary discussion. For example, you might have a work session budget work session that's focused on personnel. That's not the only thing, but that would be the primary focus. Another one might be on capital. Another one might be on some other subject, so that the conversations are a little bit more focused, and hopefully at the end of that conversation, that matter or that part of the budget is sort of done. We might have to come back and tweak something or make minor adjustments, but in general, you would have given us pretty clear direction on how you want to move in those respective subject areas. The other thing that I guess I wanted to get your feedback on is, if you recall last year, we went through the process, and quite frankly, you could pick almost any year. And it seems like we get to the last work session before adoption, and we get clear direction from you all as to what you want. And so I guess what I'm trying to do is to kind of flip that model where on the front end, you all give some consideration to what you want, and that helps us to craft and develop a budget that is more earlier in the process, closer to what you all are asking for. So for example, last year, I think we got to the last meeting and we were giving you like several options on percentage increases or percentage adjustments. I will tell you, and Randy probably would have told you the same thing if we'd asked about last year. If you told us that up front, we would have given you a budget 6 weeks earlier than you got it. That, again, was closer to what you wanted. And so I'm not trying to short circuit the process or the conversation. What I'm trying to do is to get us to a budget that reflects what you want or reflects your vision as a board earlier in the process. And, we can do some minor tweaks, but it should be minor tweaks as opposed to major revisions late in the process. And so just want to get your thoughts on that. If you have suggestions, if you have ideas, if you have thoughts early in the process, let's have those conversations early on so that we're not spinning our wheels going in a direction that's not getting you to a final product.
I thought those options provided a lot of clarity, at least for me. I'm sorry that it came at the very end, but to have the scenarios where you all get paid to come up with those scenarios, and then to allow us to kind of ask questions about that and beat that up. I much more appreciated last year. I only have 2 years to go on so far, right? So I appreciated how 25 went with those scenarios, even though it took us a while to get there. Over 24,
Yeah.
I felt like that was a lot less painless. It was a lot more painless. a couple of things that I don't see in this calendar that I would urge us to do sooner than later. And number one of that is to have a school board session. You know, we get to the end and there should be one meeting that we kind of agree on now where they come and talk about their capital, personnel, and operational budget. And that, exactly how you said it, is how I've always budgeted in healthcare and how I prefer to do it, is has those very distinct conversations. So, you know, I feel like we always get to this point where, like, it's almost a surprise. Oh, we should meet with the school board because they're a third of our budget, and, you know, we should really work on this early. So I think we should determine the date and get them in here and start working. I mean, no time is too early, I think, to have that discussion because it is so much of what we spend. I also would like to make sure that we're using the new capital amendment, you know, spreadsheet and budget process that Mr. DiStefano worked so hard on.
Yes.
So that the directors are taking and putting in numbers for the next 10 years. I think in the past, just for color, we tended to budget capitally in the in years, right? Not the out years. We were more specific once we got more of a real cost for a capital item, because as Mr. Robertson likes to say, and he's entirely right, whatever you say it's going to cost, it's never going to be less than that, right? So that is absolutely a correct statement. But it is good, because we have such large expenditures coming up, to make sure that we're flattening out that curve a bit and that we're evening out and planning strategically when we have to go to the bond market, when we have to, I mean, there's going to be some big numbers coming up over the next, I would say, forever. And we have to make sure that we're flattening that curve out a little bit. And again, Mr. DiStefano, I don't know how many, you probably put 100 hours into that model and the process, and we've presented that to you guys. And so I would appreciate if the director started with that. That, you know, below the line on that sheet, by the way, talks about how those things are funded. So again, to try to flatten out the curve for funding, I think is very strategic and a big improvement. So those would be my comments, is that I appreciate the options. We should meet with the school board early, and I'd like to use the new model for capital.
So, and thank you about the comment about the schools. The superintendent and I did have a conversation about that, because we said the same thing. Let's have that meeting as early as we can in the process, understanding that the schools have a process of their own that they're going through. We had tentatively looked at March 26th as a potential meeting date. That would be the fourth Thursday in March. That would be obviously after your regular meeting in March, but it would also be after the schools. I think they will have adopted their recommended budget by that time.
So that means it's
based on
not on
their
this sheet.
timeline.
That means it's not on this sheet.
No, it's not on this sheet, because that was just a date that
Okay.
we had discussed. And so obviously that would hinge on both you all agreeing to that, but also the school board. So yeah, we had not put that on the calendar.
So, if I may add, I think meeting with the school board obviously is a good idea, doing it early. I do think what we need to do, in my opinion, is talk about the priorities for our county. There are 5 elected officials that run that school board, et cetera, and we're tasked with running this county. Seems that there are times, and there's no slight on anybody, it just seems like it. There are a lot of times we meet with the schools, and there's always a lot of money, of course, as you talked about, how much of it is of our budget. And it seems that there are times, maybe the perception is, the county, for example, employees are left with scraps or leftovers, if you will. I think it would be good, because obviously our priority is running the county, is to maybe have that conversation on what our priorities are as a county goes, and then quickly or soon thereafter, meet with the schools. Because we got to figure out, if county priorities are truly our priorities, the schools are going to have to fall somewhere in that line, right? If we meet with them first, then that's going to be the first of your forethought, and in my opinion, we should probably address as a board, what our priorities are for our county first. And I don't think I don't know how long it'd be drawn out, if it would be at all, but then move quickly to the schools. At least then we can have honest conversation, or at least thoughts with the schools on what our priorities are with the county and what we can afford at the end of the day. Because we're not giving them false hope, or we're straightforward what we're trying to do as a county. But that's kind of my 2 cents on that.
I mean, I think it's a really good point, and if we meet with the schools on March 26th, we don't get the county administrator's proposed budget till April 2nd. So, although I think this year will be a little different, hopefully a lot different, because we've gone through extensive strategic planning process. So we've said what our priorities are, and I know every year budget priorities will change and strategic plan priorities are going to be different from budget priorities, but hopefully they're tied up in a,
And maybe I'm
bow.
thinking more global, because I think the strategic plan obviously takes care of global and specifics to a degree. But I'll give you an example that comes to my mind. Our county staff and employees. We all know, because we had to make some difficult decisions on what to do about fire and rescue when they needed positions. I think we got rid of a couple of positions, or somehow eliminated some positions that we were unable to fill. I don't remember us really having a discussion or drilling into what that meant to overall services. You know, it had a domino effect. If you don't hire this person because you haven't been able to hire somebody for 2 years or a year or something, did this mean this other person didn't stay as long? Did we lose that good person because they're doing two people's job and it has a perception that the board doesn't care? I know that's not the case. But the point of the matter is that, you know, I think that we owe it to drill into the positions that well, not just the positions, but how we're compensating our employees. I think that this county has been very fortunate that we have a good number of employees that are very loyal. Some of them most likely live in the county, but we shouldn't hang our hats on that or take advantage of it. I don't think this board does, but I think it'd be a time to have some honest conversation on properly compensating our staff so that we have good people coming in, particularly while you've got some fantastic people right now that can mentor the next generation coming in. So I guess my point in bringing that up is when you're talking about things like pay across the board, or even not just across the board, but then having to dive into it specifically of areas of concern, which we've talked about public safety, for example, that in itself, you know, it can be a heavy lift when it comes to financial. And strategic plans work well with that, but on the same token, it's going to take all the board to say yes, or majority of us to say yes or no, what we can afford. So I guess that's kind of what I was thinking when we got, as far as giving them direction on what are some of our priorities. Obviously, I've got that one that I feel close to. I'm sure other people on the board do, but I know there's likely others.
Yeah, and that kind of feedback will be extremely helpful. To, I guess, yours and Ms. Roundtree's comments about schools. Likewise, I think if this board can identify, and I guess what I was looking for was maybe even some feedback on a range of potential increases that you might be comfortable with. You might say, and this is totally arbitrary, you would be comfortable, at least from the standpoint of discussions, with somewhere between a 3% and 5% increase. Again, totally arbitrary. We're not going to just have that conversation in a vacuum. I'm also going to be conveying that to the superintendent to say, our board is only comfortable with a 3 to 5%. You need to keep that in mind when you're developing your budget as well. So, again, that, not that it prevents them, but that gives a school board some indication of what your thoughts are so that they're not coming in here with a 10% budget, and now you got to spend that first meeting talking about 5% that you have no intention of funding.
And I guess, you know, to kind of dig into the public safety, because we've talked about it down in Carrollton, they had the additional staffing and all. When you look at public safety, you know, the driver with, for example, schools is you have the school board, you have a large group of teachers, et cetera, that can really advocate. Here in the county, it's a relatively small number of employees, but you're competing in the region with big numbers. And these are the people that are going to save our lives and property, right? And so, you know, a 3% on top of what we're paying now is not gonna keep, I just use that as an example, is not gonna keep your your firefighters and paramedics coming to this county and working here. At some point in time, they've got to figure out whether they're gonna take care of their family or stay loyal to a county they love. But I guess that's just one thing you kind of drill into, because I'm certain that if you had different directors here, you know, whether it's the water quality or et cetera, and I'm going to show my ignorance on those things, that they're going to be able to speak to that to us and really show us where the need is. And, you know, throwing 3%, and I know this is a budget thing, but my point is, you don't have to look too far around Hampton Roads to see the increases that they're giving their employees. And 3% is not even close to what they're giving their employees. And our employees, I mean, a lot of people drive a half an hour to an hour away.
Well, so that's why priority area number 6, so 6.1, we said in our strategic plan, evaluate options for all county positions to recruit and retain employees, including pay, benefits, and other human resources programs, job satisfaction survey for the FY27 budget process. I know we had tied, you know, actual dates to a lot of these strategies. This just says FY27 budget. So to Supervisor Acree's point, January/February is probably, I'm hoping, and I know hope isn't a strategy, but I'm really hoping that that's when they're going to get this pay study done.
The schools,
No, this is overall for county employees, and to include the schools, I guess. I think they do their own pay study.
the schools are in the, I think they just finished or about to finish.
This was really
Study.
focused on what Joel was talking about.
County.
And so we said for the FY27 budget. So if we're going to use this information to budget, and your budget is due April 2nd, that pay study has to be done, I would think, in February.
So if I may, just talking about pay study, the only thing that I say, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't do it, is that if we're going to do a pay study, we better be willing to pay the bill
Right.
when it comes up, because nothing worse than you do a pay study for somebody, tell them they're worth a whole lot of money, but we're not going to pay you for it. They are worth more than we can pay them anyway. But I know that you know that. I'm just think while we're kind of working together to move this thing forward, I think you're right. Some of the surveys and stuff need to be done like now.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
there's not enough time to do a pay study in advance of that. The way we interpreted that was to, and when I say a pay study, I'm talking about a formalized pay
Right.
study. What our staff is working on now and has been for the last several weeks is surveying our sister communities around the region, looking at specific positions where we know we're having difficulty filling those, and what's happening with those salaries. Looking at public safety as a area of concern in that those salaries are going to be rising faster than others. So we're looking at specific things, but it is not a full-blown, get a consultant to
Third party.
go out there and do a study for you.
I think y'all said that there's a good portion y'all could do internally.
Correct.
Is what you had mentioned, if I remember.
Oh, that's fine, if that's what we meant for this point, but I think, again, to the point,
It's got to be done.
it has to be
Yeah,
done now.
no, we're
Right,
working
so
on
that
it.
we have the information so that we can properly budget, because I usually like to start the discussion on budget with personnel. If you're looking at personnel, capital, and operations, you should start with personnel. Because that is, 65% of your cost
We can
is the people.
probably look at that for our April 2nd work session, or that first work session then.
I also recall, because I've been on the personnel committee with Chairman Jefferson for my 2 years on the board, I recall at one point, we did have to make some pay adjustments,
Yes.
right? With
Yes, we
minimum
did.
wage and with some hard-to-fill positions. And I think at that point, I espoused my idea about living wage, right? And for the bottom, let's say the bottom 10, 15%, right, of people that work for the county that are making the lowest, right, but giving us their all. I had said probably 6-9 months ago, maybe more, maybe longer ago, that I felt like we should really consider a policy that when we do this research, that we're within a standard deviation or a bubble of the median of the local area, right? Especially for those people that make the lowest. So if we have, people at X pay grade, well, we just want to make sure that whatever we say is our policy, and making sure if we're within 10% or within 5%, either way, right, of the median of what we've discovered, is the regional pay rate, for something. I really felt like we owed it to set a policy to that, so that it was a little push, but, we haven't talked about that in a public forum again since.
It's been a while. But I think Joel hit it on the head when he talked about affordability. We need to make sure we look at revenue that's coming in. And it's a lot of things that we want to do, but do we have the revenue to do the things? Because you don't want to promise people, I'm going to give you a 6% raise, and we don't have the funds to do that. So we need to look at revenue and expenses. And I think last year, what kind of got us in a bind was, we need a sunset date for these departments to come to the board with what they actually want. Because at the last minute, we were doing things that was unreal. I mean, we got it done, but that should never happen. Hopefully it won't happen this year.
And as you know, some of the things, and I know you're speaking of more than just one in particular, but some of those things, when you end up with a state, for example, a state raise that comes out middle of your budget year, when you've already set your tax rate and you've already done all that, and they say, well, here's raises, and first of all, they don't give you enough money to cover the raises to begin with, and they expect the locality to come up with the lion's share of it, and you're gonna adjust your whole budget. I mean, you're exactly right. Now, the other thing that kind of sticks in my mind is, and I know that you'll present this to us, is how many positions that we're gonna have to fund this year that we didn't have to fund last year because of grants, because we've added them half year. Public safety was one of those. I think SROs, that grant's running out. So we're already starting behind on trying to figure out where that revenue's coming up before you even add anything to it, like any potential increase in salaries or benefits.
Or the staffing for the fire personnel at Carrollton, right?
And the sheriff said it was 2 deputies. The grants were going away.
I think it's 4. Is it just 2?
Maybe more, but did
But he
they,
said
I'd have to
one
go
could be
back and-
refiled.
Yeah, I was about to say they're trying to.
Okay,
One could be refiled, and that was in Causal. They ever got a grant, but one could be done there.
right.
That hasn't never been filed, so, but he said it was 2 coming off those grants.
do they have people to hire for didn't we fund 2 sheriff's positions to start in concert with the hospital opening, which is tomorrow?
Yeah, I believe they were able to fill those positions. Now, having said that, it's always a constant coming and going, so I know I signed off on a couple of deputies, but I'm not sure if they were filling those or other vacancies, but
And
yeah.
talking about the schools, I mean, what you're talking about, public safety, it's the same thing they're gonna come to you with. Can't find teachers, in this area. They're at number 10 in their wage salary starting off to every other Hampton Road city that's close to them. So it puts them in a bind there. And so I know they're gonna be coming to want to increase their thing the same, because if you don't have teachers, you don't have schools.
And one of the, you're exactly, Mr. Ely, you're exactly right. And when it comes to,
Yeah,
with the fire and rescue, the other thing that's coming along on the horizon in Hampton Roads, as you probably know, is currently our firefighters work 56-hour work week.
yep.
And the localities in our Hampton Roads area are hiring a whole nother shift. So now the people work for the same money, but only having to work
Yeah.
44 hours.
That's right.
So on top of increases the salaries at as much as 10% more.
Oh, yeah,
And so we've got to compete with that, and that's difficult, to say the least.
it's gonna be,
And then declining in volunteerism.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what, I think we're going a little to the left or to the right. And we can always come back, and if we need to set another date to actually do a pre-budget discussion, that's what we need to do. But right now, everybody content with the budget development calendar.
Yes, and I'm also okay with March 26th, if we want to add that
Right.
for the
Yeah,
school
and-
meeting.
and quite frankly, I literally just really want to prep you all that we're gonna be coming back to you probably within the next couple of meetings to say, what are your thoughts on that bigger picture target that you wanna hit?
Yeah. I figured we'd be talking all evening.
Yeah,
You're right.
we weren't trying to solve the budget puzzle tonight, but just to give you a heads up.
All right, so let's, okay, we don't need a motion for that or nothing.
No, just,
Okay, item B is the
Mr.
Mako.
Jefferson, before you go on, I just want to let the board know that because of the way the taxes got amended many years ago with the personal property tax, that we will be bringing you the ordinance for the personal property tax on February 19th, well before you ever start your budget discussions, because they closed, that's the latest date we could push it and get them to close their book. So we do it out of order, but that's what we have.
we've had to do that the last couple of years, so.
Okay, good. All right, Don, move on to the Mako Local Government Day.
Yes, sir. Item B is really just, again, we had a very brief conversation previously. That is scheduled for February 5th. And really, we're just trying to get a gauge of who all's interested in going so we can get you registered and also begin to make accommodations for any transportation needs if we need to for that day. For the new board members, that's typically, it starts at 11, I believe. So we typically leave here sometime around 9 in the morning and spend the better part of that day in Richmond. So it's kind of a whole day to block out if in terms of your time. But if you have an interest, we just want to get a sense of who might be desiring to go so we can get you registered and also get your transportation lined up.
So just, I'm gonna be up there for the VACO Board of Directors meeting first thing.
Yeah.
So I'll have to be there at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, so.
I'll probably go down.
Okay.
I don't know what we have to do, I'm sure I have to do registration.
Mr. Taylor, you want to go?
I probably will not. I think I might be out of town, sorry.
Sure.
I'll carry it for you.
I think you had previously told us you were out of town.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll coordinate with everybody individually on that, but looks like. Most of the board.
All right, that concludes our agenda, but I got one thing, or maybe two things that I want to ask. Well, first one I ask Mr. Jones, during our next business meeting, can you give us a brief on profits and what profits mean and how what's our relationship to actually getting a profit?
Yes, sir.
Okay? And also, is there any legalities if we do something wrong?
Yes, sir.
Okay? And the next item is, we had talked, Mr. Roundtree and I had talked, and I think I talked to county administrator also, that when we have people coming here to do presentation, we want to try to get those presentations done during work sessions and not during our regular business meeting, so we could take care of our business during the regular business meeting and get out of here before 11, 12 o'clock. And we don't want people coming here spending 30 or 45 minutes talking about a presentation. Okay? And Don, I think Don and I talked about that.
What type of presentations are you talking about, Mr. Jefferson?
Like,
Well, the Alliance, Hampton Roads Alliance comes in.
Oh, yeah, just
or
be more.
EV
But then
RIFA.
But that's what y'all approved during the agenda.
well, we're talking about presentation where we don't have to take any action on during that particular night.
Oh, I got you. I just know when you do agenda review, that's usually when we would
No,
kick
not
them out or
that,
put them
no,
in.
No, that's our business, that's part of our business.
We had also talked about no one needs to make a 30 or 45-minute presentation. You know, people who are presenting should probably be 10 or 15 minutes at the very most.
And if I may, because we talked a little bit about it, but particularly county staff, if they were doing a presentation, it'd be nice if it were done in a uniform format. That I'm sure the county administrator would be able to come up with something that's very appropriate. And the reason why I say is, if you see on social media a PowerPoint presentation, it's claimed to be the county's, it should be in a format where you could quickly realize whether or not it was ours or it was created by someone else. Best we can in this day of AI. But
Okay. All right.
I did find,
did you find that one?
So June 4th, it says 5 PM for a work session, but every other work session is 6.
Yes, that's correct.
Well done.
I mean, it took me a while. I just had to read every single one, sorry, so it took me
Didn't
to
catch that.
to find it, but I knew that there was an issue that we needed to go back and change. That would be, I don't know if we have to reapprove that, it's just a timing thing, but
Make a motion to
Amend.
amend the calendar.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the calendar and move the June 4th meeting to 6 PM from 5 PM.
Okay, Ms. Kay?
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Mr. Ely,
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson,
Yes.
Ms. Roundtree.
Yes.
Mr. Ackley.
Yes.
All right, with that
I,
said,
sorry, I also, at the last meeting, Mr. Jones, I thought we had talked about which committees qualified as standing committees or task forces.
We did. And I didn't bring it to this organizational meeting because I figured I would bring that to your regular meeting in
Okay,
public.
all right,
When we talk about appointments, but we are working, it actually turned out to be a little more complicated about finding who's paid and who's not paid than I initially thought, but we're working on it, and we'll bring it.
Okay,
next
my
meeting.
apologies. I
No,
just
that's
thought
okay.
maybe that was a consideration with regard to the bylaws. But if it's separate, then that's great, and we can talk about it next time.
okay. Any other concern? If not, this meeting is adjourned.